The 1995 Hennessy RT10 Viper, this is a speed demon, man. To understand the significance of this car, you need to understand the origins of the Viper. In 1988, Chrysler and Carroll Shelby, the man himself, set out to make a modern-day Cobra that used the AC Cobra and the Shelby Cobra Daytona as their inspiration. Now, at the North American International Auto Show in 1989, the concept car named Copperhead was unveiled to the public. The first version of the Viper, it was a huge hit. It was such a hit that Lee Iacocca, now you know that guy, man. He was the guy who was instrumental in the very first pony car, that iconic 1964 and a half Mustang. He approved the production of the Viper in 1991, and retail shipments began in January of 1992. But the Viper's notoriety and demand did not stop there. In 1991 Indianapolis 500, Carroll Shelby drove a Viper prototype as the pace car. Now at the time, the V10 engine, 400 horsepower Viper Carroll Shelby drove, it had the highest horsepower rating for any non-modified Indy pace car. The very first time I ever saw a Dodge Viper, I did not know what in the world it was. Frankly, nobody knew what it was. Those of you that know me know that I spent a huge part of my youth growing up in the fabulous city of Detroit, where most of my family resided at the time, and most of them still do. And I was in Detroit for a big family reunion, and I believe it was in 1989. And you never know what you see roaming the streets of Detroit, because you know, you got the big three auto manufacturers there, and before the rest of the world gets to see stuff, sometimes you're lucky and you catch a glimpse of something. So I'm gonna say it was probably 1989, and I was in Detroit for a family reunion, and there was this amazing red roadster driving on the city streets of Detroit. I did not know what it was. It absolutely blew my mind. I have to admit, it did remind me of a 427 Cobra, but it was obviously a new modern car. And what it turned out to be was a Dodge Viper that had not been released yet, that had not been put into production yet, but it was roaming the streets of Detroit, because as you know, the big three, they like to test cars. They do them on test tracks, they do them on city streets, they do them all over the place. And I happened to catch a glimpse of one back in 1989 on the public streets of Detroit City. A bright red, wasn't a Dodge Viper at the time, apparently it was the Copperhead, driving the streets of Detroit. That's the first time I ever saw one. So now, you know why I had to have one of these beautiful cars in my collection, and like most of my cars, I had to customize it a bit to make it my own. Now this one right here, she's a 1995. Why in 1995? It was the last year of the first generation Viper that had the side pipes. I'm a side pipe fan, and I love the first generation Viper because I love the body style. Now, some of the things that we've done here to it to kind of change it up a little bit, because you Viper aficionados are looking at it going, that's a 95. Well, it's got a 97 front clip. I really liked the look of the 97 front clip. So the hood and the nose, we changed out to a 1997, and then we molded in things like the louvers on the hood, and we molded in the intake scoop there on that as well. Now this car has been modified by Hennessy. Hennessy is a magnificent tuner of a lot of really cool cars, but they specialize a lot of work in Vipers. This particular one, being a 1995, has the V10 engine, which was originally rated at about 400 horsepower. It's backed up with the 6-speed double overdrive manual transmission on it. After she spent time at Hennessy, she's got the bigger bore throttle bodies on it. She's got larger injectors in it. It's got the Hennessy exhaust system on it. It's got the Hennessy tuning for the computer. All of these things put this car somewhere over a 600 horsepower rating. Now, on top of changing it visually on the front clip to the 97 front clip, because I really like that look, I had HRE Wheels make a beautiful custom set of 3-piece HRE polished wheels for this baby, and of course wrap them with the Michelin Pilot Sports on it. This car is very, very quick and very, very fast. I know that kind of sounds like the same thing, but it's actually two things. To me, quick is off the line, 0 to whatever. This car is extremely quick. Fast to me is top end. This car has a lot of top end speed to it, especially with the double overdrive setup and that much horsepower and a very lightweight car. It's very, very fast on top of it. I added to it a fiberglass clamshell removable top and plexiglass sliding windows. The first generation Viper is technically an open car, so that means it came really with no real top and no real windows. Dodge did offer a canvas fold-up top that fit in the trunk and some canvas side curtains in case you get stuck in a rainstorm. But I added some better weather gear on it because, you know, I'm an air-conditioned guy, so I got to have that going on for me. You know what I forgot about too? I forgot about the rear wing on the trunk. It's a prototype-style rear wing that I happened to score before they actually put it into production, so I'm really kind of proud of that rear wing on the back. So I scored my Dodge Viper in, I believe it was 1997. This is a 95 RT10 Roadster, last year of the side pipes on the first generation Viper. Frankly, it was right here in Las Vegas where I live, and it was at a kind of a high-end exotic luxury car dealership, and it was for sale, and it was bone stock at the time. It was a beautiful car, and me being a Shelby fan, and me being especially a Cobra Shelby fan, and knowing the history of the Viper and where it came from, I kind of always wanted mine. Wanted one in my collection. And when I saw this car for sale here in Las Vegas at this dealership, I had to stop and start talking to these guys. And I was fortunate enough to be able to work out a deal with these gentlemen, actually through the help of my brother Davey from Davey Deals, who happened to know the guys that own the dealership. So we did a deal on the car, and I bought her, and she was a bone stock 95 at the time with the gray 3-spoke wheels and the stock 95 front end and stock everything. And from then, I can't leave anything alone. The craziness began, and I started having fun with this car and turning her into what you see here today, which is, in my opinion, an exotic, wicked, bad, yet classy Dodge Viper. This is actually, for those of you that know me and that know Counts Customs, Ryan Evans is a master paint. His paint work is insane. This is the very first car that Ryan Evans ever painted for me. So I brought him onto the team, and I had him do the paint on my Viper. I had him do it a few times because Ryan had to get to know me, had to get to know my taste, had to know what I liked. I liked Ryan, I liked his style, I liked what he did, but he really had to get to know my taste. So he did a paint job on it. It was cool, but it wasn't quite me. Do it again. Did some more stuff, I dug it some more, still wasn't quite me. So then we got to the version we're looking at now. He captured my style. On this particular car, black was perfect. She's got the gray interior, black on the outside, love that. Love the rally striping on the car. You got to put, old school rally stripes, which Dodge did offer on their Viper package, but it was a solid, looking rally stripes. I wanted these rally stripes to be special. We pinstriped the rally stripes, of course, in red just to add a little flavor to them. But what's really cool on the finer details on this car is if you get into the rally stripes on this, they're a pearl charcoal, so it wasn't too bold. We've seen a lot of Vipers that are, bold stripes, like the blue with the white, or, black with the white, or whatever. This particular one, I kind of wanted it to be subtle but cool. So she's black. The rally stripes have a pearl charcoal, which is gorgeous. When you get them out in the light, they're beautiful. But you really get into it and study those stripes. All of the stripes have spider webs ghosted into the rally striping throughout the entire car. Of course, capturing my flavor because I kind of got a gothic thing that runs through me that I dig on. The pinstriping in red was something that also speaks to my gothic vibe, and all the way down to Ryan did a beautiful job where right on the trunk, and you get down to the little keyhole that opens up the trunk of this car, you can see where he actually pinstriped the little tiny spider itself as if a spider went over this entire car and did the spider webbing on this car. So this is it's a car that I love. This is a car that I enjoy driving a lot. Very fast, very quick, a lot of styling to it, but what's cool is it's a car you can drive technically every day. It's that Dodge V10. It's a very durable engine. That double overdrive 6-speed trans makes it a whole lot of fun. I love this car, man. I think it's one of my favorites in my personal collection. I hope you've enjoyed the finer details on this car. Check it out, look it over. We're going to show you some cool stuff on it. And stick with me here on my Counts Customs YouTube channel, because I'm going to share even more of my personal collection and more of my personal touches on my personal collection. And hope you guys enjoy it, man. 1995 RT10 Hennessy Viper, done Counts Customs style. Dig it.